Amy Roloff from Little People, Big World, and her husband, Chris Marek, currently vacation in Mexico. Given the reported attitude by the cartels in Mexico, is it safe? After all, some violence was reported after Donald Trump annoyed the big guns in the drug smuggling business. There are plenty of things to love about Mexico. Some celebrities go there for a break, and other people love their avocados and other fresh vegetables. Often, TLC stars will visit the country for fun vacations in the sunshine by the sea. And the Little People, Big World stars also enjoy going there. Amy Roloff and her friends went to Cabo just days after the U.S. government issued a travel warning for Mexico. According to The Street, the warning specified the Reynosa, Rio Bravo, Vallehermoso, and San Fernando towns in the Tamaulipas region. But as the LPBW stars visit the Baja California Sur resort of Cabo, they might be a lot safer. Judging by Instagram posts by Amy, the TLC stars aren't running into any problems in Mexico. Hopefully, Donald Trump will find a way to deal with the problems in a diplomatic way. After all, he enraged the leadership there with his deportation of illegal immigrants and his trade tariffs. Amy Roloff shared a lot of photos of herself with her friends, and it seemed as if the TLC stars thoroughly enjoyed themselves. In one post, Chris Marek's wife wrote, "Another beautiful and wonderful day in Cabo, Mexico." TLC fans loved the photos, and they liked seeing Amy Roloff so happy with Chris Marek after her divorce from Matt Roloff. Actually, LPBW covered that extensively on the reality TV show. Here are some of the comments from TLC fans. "We just returned from Cabo. Such a wonderful place. My husband and I were there a couple of years back. We loved Cabo. Enjoy. Beautiful there. Looks like you all are having an amazing time. Enjoy. Love the sea lions that hang out around the harbor. We were just there on a cruise." However, not everyone who follows Amy Roloff cheered for her and Chris Marek on their vacation. One of them wrote, "When you go home, please remember the generosity and warmth of the Mexican people and recall that you helped put into office the president who wants to remove those poor people from our country, the land they used to call their own, tearing apart families at the same time. It's shameful." Amy Roloff's creative recipes and cooking videos may help her transition from reality star to esteemed chef. The matriarch of the Roloff family's simple yet impressive recipes add a modern twist to traditional dishes. Amy has always had a passion for cooking and baking, and with the publication of her most recent cookbook, Eat, Love, Gather, Amy is making a name for herself in the culinary world. Amy and her family have appeared in Little People, Big World for 25 seasons. As a mother of 4, she owned a pumpkin farm in Hillsboro, Oregon, with her ex-husband, Matt Roloff. Little People, Big World documented the family as Amy and Matt divorced. Amy moved away from the farm, and their children grew up and started their own families. Amy, who is now married to Chris Marek, has leaned into her cooking as the show's future grows uncertain. Given her impressive selection of recipes, Amy is well on her way to making cooking her new career. Chris joined Amy as she whipped up a batch of hamburgers with a clever addition. Little People, Big World star Amy added a layer of Black Forest ham on her burgers, followed by a sauce made from mayonnaise and chopped dill pickle. She finished the meal with paprika-seasoned potato wedges and sriracha ketchup. Making a summer meal in the middle of winter, Amy cooked her hamburgers indoors on the stovetop. She explained that she seasoned her meat, so the focus remained on the ham and sauce. The simplicity of Amy's cooking makes her recipes attainable to even novice chefs, but her unexpected gourmet details elevate the dishes. As Amy finished assembling the meal, Chris joined her for dinner and called her method a great way to build a burger. Amy turned traditional salad on its head with her Bloody Mary salad recipe. She wrote in the caption, "Who says salads have to be boring?" Amy's salad includes tomato, celery, red onions, and parsley, and it is finished with a spicy horseradish and Tabasco dressing. She added the hashtag creative cooking. Since beginning their romance, Amy and Chris are often shown on Little People, Big World, enjoying a cocktail with friends or just each other. Amy's Bloody Mary salad is reminiscent of the couple's ability to take time to enjoy the little things and indulge. Her addition of a cocktail-inspired twist to the salad is proof of Amy's fun-loving yet comforting nature, which is part of what has made her such a beloved television figure. For a sweet treat, Amy made a batch of chocolate brownies from scratch. She then whipped up peanut butter cookie dough to layer on top to mimic the taste of a peanut butter cup. "I'm in heaven," Amy remarked after her first bite. Amy loves putting her own spin on classic recipes. Amy's brownie cookie mashup displays her ability to think outside the box. The added effort she took to prepare 2 different dessert mixes surely paid off, given the classic pairing of peanut butter and chocolate. Amy's combination of 2 simple ideas results in a unique dessert, yet still brings a familiar comfort. Amy shared the spotlight with some of her grandchildren, Ember Roloff, Bode Roloff, and Radley Roloff, as she filmed a video in her son Jeremy Roloff's kitchen. With her grandchildren in mind, Amy put her spin on corn dogs by adding shredded cheese and chopped hot dogs to a homemade corn muffin mix. She noted the difficulty of cooking in an unfamiliar kitchen, but Amy improvised quickly and adapted her recipe to the equipment she had. Amy's corn dogs haven't had the best reviews from fans in the past. Amy's grandchildren are a huge part of her life. This recipe by Amy is a particular example of her focus on family, as Amy's love for cooking grew from her desire to comfort and nourish her children. Although she mentioned that the lighting was not ideal and the sounds of her grandchildren playing echoed in the background, Amy remained calm and focused while she executed her recipe. Amy's natural warmth as a mother and grandmother is evident in her willingness to stay flexible and cook something for the children to enjoy. The most luxurious of Amy's dishes is her seafood lasagna. Amy considers this recipe an alternative to heavy meat and tomato lasagna, but she spares no expense with her variation. Amy layered shrimp, salmon, and crab meat with noodles and a cream sauce that included Parmesan, ricotta, and mozzarella cheese. As she cooked, Amy noted Chris had just arrived home and was tiptoeing around the kitchen to avoid disturbing her. This glimpse into their relationship shows the respect the couple has for one another, allowing space for their passions. Chris has been a healthy addition to Amy's life, supporting her without being overbearing. Chris could be heard commenting off camera that the lasagna was looking good. Amy's sophisticated yet casual recipes are a perfect representation of her personality. Amy is a level-headed mother and has stayed dignified through her divorce and the Roloff's family drama. However, she also has a knack for entertaining and pays attention to the small details that matter the most. When Amy's time on Little People, Big World ends, she will have no trouble continuing to stay in the public eye through her cooking videos and cookbooks. Zach Roloff starred on Little People Big World alongside most of his family for 25 seasons, but the father of 3 revealed this week that appearing on the TLC series wasn't something he always enjoyed. On a recent episode of his and wife Tori Roloff's Raising Heights podcast, Zach reflected on the early days of Little People Big World, admitting that while it was fun at times, it was also very stressful. It was odd because there was always this expectation that I should be doing something right now, he said, as reported by Monsters and Critics. When people say reality television, I always think there's a little caveat there because at the end of the day, these people are paying for a crew to be here. Regarding the early days of Little People Big World, Zach said his mom, Amy Roloff, did a pretty good job of keeping Zach and his siblings grounded, noting that the Roloff kids continued attending the same school and kept the same close friends as they had before the show began filming. He also admitted that it was fun at times getting to travel to different cities to promote the series, but it was also very stressful, he added. And some of that is the family dynamic, Some of it is how I feel the family handled reality television. My mom and dad did a lot of good things, but then there are times where I'm like, we could have done that better, especially in the last, 10 years probably. Zach admitted that he could not stand filming the show in public, which he compared to being on a movie set in the middle of a public setting, as it would lead to everyone staring at you. He also said the dynamic changed as he got older, as filming the series became more of a business than it was in the early seasons. They did not just sit around all day filming. It was, "Hey, here are film days, 2 days a week," he said, calling the format rigid. "I always say it's real, like what we're doing was reality, in a sense, but it was like a scheduled reality," he added. As the Ashley previously told you, Zach and Tori announced in February that they were stepping away from the TLC series, citing their 3 children as a huge reason, along with the current situation involving Zach's dad, Matt Roloff, and Roloff Farm. As fans of the show know, Zach and Matt began feuding in May 2022 after Matt announced on social media that he was selling a portion of Roloff Farm, despite previously claiming that he wanted the farm to stay in the Roloff family. Matt's announcement seemingly blamed his and ex-wife Amy's twin sons, Zach and Jeremy Roloff, for having to sell the farm, which proceeded to kick off a public feud between Zach and Matt that played out on both social media and the family's TLC show. In May, Zach revealed on an episode of his podcast that the situation with his dad had yet to improve since filming the season 25 finale of Little People Big World nearly a year ago. He also hinted that his father's narcissism and inability to admit that he did anything wrong may be a big reason why the father/son relationship had yet to be repaired. Karen Chandler has had a reputation for harboring materialistic and selfish motives when it comes to her intentions behind dating and eventually marrying Matt Roloff. Starting as one of his employees, Karen began working on the farm as Matt's assistant for 10 years before acquiring a spot on one of the best reality TV shows. Matt used to be married to Amy Roloff, with whom he bought a farmhouse in 1990 to create Roloff Farms, which has since exploded in popularity to become a huge tourist destination in Oregon. Karen experienced her own divorce from Joseph Chandler, whom she was married to for 20 years until 2012. Matt and Amy split in 2016, giving Karen 4 years to present herself as a single and available outlet for Matt in his marital troubles. Having had 2 children with Joseph, Karen was likely looking for a way to financially support her children following the dissolution of her marriage, which is where Matt and the potential value of selling his farm came in during season 25 of Little People, Big World. When Matt acquired the family farm in 1990, a succession was well established with Zach slated to take over after Matt was ready to retire. That is why it took the entire family, most notably Zach, by surprise when Matt decided to list 16 acres of the market without consulting anyone. Zach was understandably offended, and although he has not publicly placed blame on Karen, her lack of interest in taking on the responsibility of managing the Roloff Farms was not a secret and presumably influenced Matt and Karen's decisions, which tore the family apart. Although Karen would not have been involved if Zach were to take over, she would have lost a large sum of money, which she felt entitled to. That money most likely appealed to both Matt and Karen as potential funding for their new home, which they started to build during Little People, Big World Season 25. It goes without saying that Zach was well aware of the financial incentive Matt and Karen gained by removing him from the equation, given that he refused to talk about Matt and Karen's engagement with the producers during a confessional moment later in the season. It is no secret that Matt has a desirable amount of money from the farm and the 25 seasons of Little People, Big World, which he has starred in, and Karen is benefiting from that with new homes in both Oregon and Arizona. Karen also posts on Instagram quite frequently to share updates about what she refers to as quick getaways in Cabo. While she may be enjoying a new lavish life, her new expensive two-story home lacked accessibility for Matt to the upstairs bedroom, which displayed a priority for Matt's money over his company in her life. Not only did Matt likely support Karen financially in getting her home, but he also gave her authority throughout the process of building his new and expensive home. Karen told Matt, "It's still always going to be your house that we're gonna share in Little People." Big World Season 25, Episode 2, Get Your Girlfriends Straight. While this sounds like a fair sentiment, Matt went on to say that when he finds a product he likes, he first consults Karen about where she doesn't want it. Given how much he's spending, Matt should get the first and final say about where anything goes. On their new podcast, Raising Heights, Tori says that she and Zach are not dramatic enough. They go on to say that the farm deal forced Zach to become the messenger between his father and mother, which consequently means that Karen and Matt's heartless actions involving the deal contributed to Zach and Tori's departure. Zach claims that he has never been uncomfortable in a financially materialistic way, and that leaving the show is an opportunity to move on and pursue open doors which they may not pursue otherwise, unlike Karen, who still seeks to reap the show's financial benefits. In another podcast episode, Zach says that his relationship with Matt is non-existent, and that although the dust has settled since they stopped filming, nothing has been fixed. Zach never got along with Karen in the first place, and goes on to say that Matt and Karen are still in denial, thinking they've done nothing wrong, which communicates a narcissism that he must have put his foot down against. Leaving Little People, Big World challenged Matt and Tori to distance themselves from Karen's out-of-control ego, which clearly has in part caused the farm drama.